I'm doing a massive boom, boom, boom combo episode update on Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, the E. Jean Carroll trial. We're getting all of them, ladies and gentlemen, in one show. Hold tight. We're going for a ride. You found the Doug TenNapel channel. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for leaving a comment below. It pushes this out to everyone. Boom, let's go. First up, Fani Willis. Fulton County denies DA Fani Willis more funding in the 2025 budget. You go hungry. She could use a reduction of calories. The Fulton County Board of Commissioners opted against allocating a substantial monetary increase for the county district attorney's office when finalizing its 2025 fiscal year budget on Wednesday, perhaps bringing a months-long standoff with DA Fani Willis into its next phase. The board allocated $39 million of its nearly $1 billion budget to the DA's office, a figure that Willis has insisted will not allow her staff to properly carry out its duties, and I'll add, to persecute Trump. So she's getting starved out. $39 million. You know, she can do a lot of work there still. They can't zero it out because she was elected as the DA. The adopted budget also fails to provide additional funding requested by other justice and safety partners like the magistrate courts and the Solicitor General. Capital B Atlanta reported earlier this month that Willis sent a letter in response to a proposed budget to each of the county commissioners in December, warning that she would pursue legal action against the board if her office's funding is not adequately increased. So now we find out if she's going to back that threat up. She doesn't. She has no political capital. It's not going to work. Next up, Trump's massive orders are affecting even Letitia James as she's trying to rebel from Trump's orders. Let's take a listen to this video she just dropped.
We need to just remind individuals that really it's all about enforcing the law in the state of New York and ensuring that individuals who rely upon essential services, that there is someone here who can use the law both as a sword and as a shield, and to let individuals know that the President of the United States cannot unilaterally disrupt funding that has been appropriated by Congress. You know, Congress is a co-equal branch of government, and Congress needs to be consulted and they need to approve any funding. And the President of the United States cannot unilaterally disrupt it based on a whim.
Good lecture there, Godzilla. Let's go to Tom Cotton real quick to give us some color on this. Here's Democrat leaders like Letitia James are fighting to continue horrific gender transition surgeries for kids. What she means is the money dispersed she's trying to still do, even though Trump has said it is illegal. This is disgraceful. New York's Attorney General warns hospitals that canceling transgender care on children could violate state law. So this is going to put New York in conflict with the federal government. The New York Attorney General, Letitia James, has warned New York hospitals that complying with the White House's executive order to end gender-affirming medical care for transgender youth could well violate the law. Good luck with that, Letitia James. We'll see you in court. Now, when she isn't protecting that horrifying procedure, she's trying to do a reroute around Trump gathering up illegal aliens. This is over at Fox News. Trump foe Letitia James slammed for post-New York City ICE raid comments. Get on the same page. New York is one of a number of sanctuary jurisdictions that do not cooperate with ICE detainers. So this puts her in conflict with Kristi Noem, Tom Homan, and the Trump administration. As President Donald Trump's raids ramp up across the United States, New York Attorney General Letitia James pushes back against his illegal immigration strategy that has been slammed for not prioritizing public safety. Boy, she does not care about public safety, gang. One longtime New York City police officer said, the state's politicians need to, quote, get on the same page after James's comments in the wake of Tuesday's raids by Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and other federal agents. Quote, my office is aware of the increased presence of ICE across New York City. I am monitoring the situation to ensure our laws are being respected and people's rights are not being violated, James wrote. Along with her post, she attached guidance that emphasizes the rights of illegal migrants, immigrants, and federal, state, and local laws that the state's law enforcement agencies must adhere to. One example is that the local law enforcement agencies in New York are, quote, not ordinarily permitted to detain people at the request of federal civic immigration authorities alone without judicial warrant, unquote. James's statement came after newly confirmed Homeland Security Kristi Noem descended on the country's largest sanctuary city early Tuesday for arrests of illegal immigrants wanted for violent crimes. Letitia James is trying to keep violent criminals free and unable to be tracked down by Kristi Noem and Tom Homan in New York. What do my New York people think of that plan? Several hours after the raid, New York City's Mayor Eric Adams said in a statement that the city, quote, will not hesitate to partner with federal authorities to bring violent criminals to justice, just as we have done for years. So there's Mayor Eric Adams. The Democratic mayor said he, quote, directed the NYPD to coordinate with DHS's Homeland Security investigations and other federal law enforcement agencies as allowed by law to conduct a targeted operation, unquote. So Letitia James, what are you talking about? New York City St. Joseph Imperatrice, the founder of Blue Lives Matter New York City, told Fox News Digital that the Attorney General should prioritize her constituents' safety over making political statements. Quote, the number one goal of any person in office is the safety of their constituents, and I believe that across the board, our politicians need to get on the same page, work together, understand each other, and why we're doing what we're doing, he said. Letitia James said, come hide over here, illegals. We'll cover you. Quote, we cannot have people coming into our country committing violent felonies and then speaking out about it when it could have been prevented, he said. This can be all prevented the second you break our rules or commit a violent felony or any type of felony. Your rights should be rescinded. And that's where we all need to get on the same page to work for a safer America and a safer New York City. Why is Letitia James so against a safe New York City? We're going to get into their criminal funding in just a second. Local law enforcement, Imperatrice said, want to serve their communities and come together to make America safer. We need to listen to the communities we serve, since they're the ones paying our taxes to be able to pay the salaries of our first responders, and they're the ones that vote for our politicians. Their voices need to be heard, he said. As long as ICE arrests are done within the guidelines through the Constitution, we need to come together and work on making New York City and America safe. So New York State is in conflict with the U.S. government, and Letitia James is in conflict with her own voters. Next up, we have an update on the E. Jean Carroll dealio. Immunity does not shield Trump from $83 million defamation law judgment. Carroll's attorney argues. Carroll's attorney, who's going to get at least 1/3 of that, argues. Trump's appealing a jury's verdict that awarded Carroll $83 million in damages. Presidential immunity does not protect Donald Trump from having to pay tens of millions of dollars in damages after being held liable for defaming magazine columnist E. Jean Carroll. A lawyer for Carroll told a federal appeals court filing on Monday. That's ABC News. They're trying to fight this in appeals. I believe Trump will win this on appeal. After being awarded an $83 million defamation judgment from a jury last year, Carroll on Monday urged the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit to uphold the judgment against Trump after Trump asked the court to toss out the verdict because he had immunity. Back in September, Trump attorney D. John Sauer, who Trump nominated in November to serve as the new Solicitor General, told a federal appeals court that the $83 million judgment should be thrown out based on a flawed jury instruction. Boom. That's going to be one of the things that get this thing thrown out on appeal. A series of, quote, highly prejudicial errors, unquote, during the trial, and because presidential immunity protects Trump from liability for public statements in the president. Now, look, I think even though Trump has immunity, he doesn't have to rely on it because that court case was so bad that it needs to be thrown out because of those jury instructions. The judge broke instructions. He allowed the prosecuting attorneys to do and say things that should not have been allowed in the court. And so I believe this thing gets appealed if they get to pursue this to the next step. That's on E. Jean Carroll. Next up. Now, this one's about the U.S. government shutting down USAID.gov, multi-million, perhaps billion-dollar aid to other countries that was also used, we're going to find out later, for the state to prosecute Trump. Watch this. The tweet from Rod Martin. Biggest news yet, Trump shutters USAID. Deep state agency gets locked out as Trump and Musk pull the plug. This is a massive story. I'm just going to go to the USAID.gov. Okay, this is what happens when you get to the USAID.gov site. This site can't be reached. This means, by the way, check if there is a typo in the USAID.gov address. There is not. USAID.gov has been shut down, and I mean they removed the servers.
And here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look. Because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
Now, what does all this mean? This is where it's going to tie back to Alvin Bragg, by the way. This is Mario Narfal, Mike Benz, Trump prosecutors were funded by USAID. Now, this is a U.S. government site. You're going to see later, we're going to show you Jamie Raskin. They're all going to do their crybabying over this thing being shut down and angry at Elon Musk. But the money went through USAID and ended up getting washed out to fund Alvin Bragg's pursuit of Trump. That's huge news, guys, and that's new today. Quote, this push to prosecute Trump by Alvin Bragg, Soros was a minor co-funder. We always blame Soros for Alvin Bragg. Soros just gave him $10,000. That's all. The $14 million he gave to the parent company, the fiscal sponsor of FJP, Fair and Just Prosecution, a nonprofit that supports influencing progressive prosecutors in the U.S. Well, that ain't nothing compared to the $27 million paid that USAID gave them. In the name of USAID, they went after Trump. Every time you hear the word Soros prosecutor, no, they're USAID prosecutors. And that's why it's good that USAID was shut down. But listen to Jamie Raskin here cry and scream at Elon Musk. Okay, here we go. Lunatic Jamie Raskin just wrongly said that USAID can't be stopped. JFK, John F. Kennedy, the first one, created USAID in 1961 by executive order. Oh, reverse the executive order, Trump. As such, USAID can be ended by executive order, and it just was. That's how it works. Raskin can scream like a lunatic all he wants. It doesn't matter. Let's watch him scream.
Elon Musk, you didn't create USAID. The United States Congress did for the American people.
Actually, JFK did a presidential order.
And just like Elon Musk did not create USAID, he doesn't have the power to destroy it. And who's going to stop him? We are. We're going to stop him.
Get him, Jamie. Look at Ilhan Omar back there.
Elon Musk, you may have illegally seized power over the financial payment systems of the United States Department of Treasury.
That's even more good news I didn't cover. They took over, Doge took over, they looked into the Department of Treasury.
So apparently the highest ranking person in the Treasury, he resigned rather than comply with Doge for access to audit where they spent trillions of dollars a year.
And exposed them.
But you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does that under Article 1 of the Constitution. And just like the president who is elected to something cannot impound the money of the people, we don't have a fourth branch of government called Elon Musk. And that's going to become real clear.
Look at him just seething. It's all gone. USAID is gone. Go to the website right now, usaid.gov. The site doesn't even exist. They got to confiscate those servers before they end up in Hillary Clinton's garage to be bleach bit. Pull out all the emails showing George Soros funded. By the way, it was also funded by the Tide Foundation, put money into that same prosecution of Trump. George Soros, Tide Foundation, Kellogg Foundation, and the U.S. government money that's supposed to go to like foreign aid, like to help people in other countries, and it got washed into this one judicial 501c3, a charity, and it went to help fund Alvin Bragg's prosecution of Donald Trump. That's taxpayer U.S. government trying to undermine a political opposition candidate to Joe Biden. Get those emails, shut these people down, investigate them, and throw them in prison. Jamie Raskin, you don't know what you're talking about. I only know this much. Trump and Doge are shutting down so much stuff in the government to a tune of about $1 billion a day right now. They're trying to get up to $2 billion a day. The Democrats can't keep up. All they can do is throw this giant tantrum. And meanwhile, a new government thing is shut down every day, sometimes like 10 a day. They're not going to be able to keep up. I'm Doug in exile.